I'm back. New spider. This is one of my bigger ones. Okay, so let's take a look at this Rhys deck. So Rhys is another one of my old-time commanders. If it's not obvious by now, Selesnya is my favorite of the guilds. So Rhys is a one-drop commander, but he's still white or green. You can pay 3 mana, create a Elf Warrior token, or you can pay 6 mana, and for each token you have, you make another copy of that token. So basically he doubles your tokens. It's kind of redonkulous. If you don't deal with them quickly, he gets really, really out of control. I've been playing him in paper for, God, probably about 7 years now. There's a lot of things I've wanted to do with the deck but never done because the bookkeeping on it is horrific. Even when I play him a little bit more toned back, I still have to run with about 150 tokens with me. At this point, I've started putting them into a notebook and alphabetized, so it's easier to find what I'm looking for. If you don't have that, don't play this deck. This is a lot of work to keep track of things. If you're just going to make tokens out of dice, you're going to have a really bad experience playing Rhys. So let's go into a few of the details in the deck. I'm going to have 1.5 million tokens, so Gaia's Cradle's in here, obviously. I must say I love that artwork on here. Gavany Township is one of the cards I've always avoided playing in Rhys. Puts a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control. Again, with tokens, that's a pain in the ass to bookkeep. So it's like, okay, I've got these 3 soldier tokens, and they've got 4 counters on them. And I've got these 6 soldier tokens, they've got 2. And then I'm going to put some more soldier tokens into play. And it's like, how do I keep track of all of this? How do I keep my board clear? I've actually had a friend joke that they're going to buy me a playmat that has the Selesnya logo on it. And it has a phrase that says something like, can you pull up another table for all my tokens, or something like that. It's a legit issue with this deck. I don't think there's any other really fancy lands in here other than the Avamaya Hollow, which I put in almost every green deck I play. So again, you're going to be making 1.5 million cards. So of course we have Legion's Landing. Throne of the God Pharaoh is a win condition. That's going to kill everybody if I just attack with enough tokens, just because they're all going to be tapped. I do have a non-bow in the deck with it. I do play Heliod, which gives everything vigilance, but the chance of having them both at the same time is pretty low, since I really don't tutor all that much. I believe Enlightened Tutor is the only tutor in here. Badoka Gardener is a long-forgotten card. He's a creature that lets you put lands from your hand into play. But when you do it, if you've got 10 or more lands, you get to flip him. And then once he's flipped, he makes XX elemental tokens, where X is how many lands you control. It doesn't matter if the number of lands you control changes, that number is going to stay static. It just cares when it comes into play. I run Sundering Growth as one of my removal spells, just because it allows Populate as well, and it still costs 2 mana. Cryptolith Rite makes all my tokens turn into lands. That definitely can ramp like you wouldn't believe. Rootborn Defenses saves me from board wipes and populates a token. Sacred Mace is another long-forgotten card. You have to sacrifice a Pegasus every upkeep, but for a white and 1, you make a Pegasus token. So it's a very, very cheap flying creature. And you don't have to play one until your upkeep, so it's easy to come up with a token to sacrifice. Even in the case of a board wipe, you're fine. Arachnogenesis, we brought this up in the last video. It's a fog that creates a bunch of spider tokens. It's pretty obvious to tell I kind of like my spiders. Beastmaster's Ascension. Pretty much the very first time I swing when this is in play, everything gets +5/+5. Because you're definitely going to have 6 or 7 creatures swinging the very first time. Growing Rites is another guy's Cradle. Song of the Dryads is one of my favorite removal cards. This takes care of commanders and makes sure they don't come back. They just sit there as a forest the rest of the game, unless someone's got enchantment removal. But if you're playing a black, blue, or red deck, it's pretty much turns them completely off. Only white and green can deal with it. Spawn Wraith gets really out of control. Anytime it deals combat damage to a player, you get another one, and the tokens do the same thing. I've got Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. I know she's not the popular Nissa, but she makes plant tokens for me, and she can put counters on all my creatures. So that's another one I haven't really run in previous iterations, just because of the bookkeeping on it. Aura Shards means I'm going to be the only one with artifacts and enchantments, because I'm going to pump out like 4 or 5, maybe 20 creatures a turn. We've got Token Doubler, Heliod, like I said. Oketra is like an extra Heliod. Oketra is always going to be able to attack, so we're always going to have creatures. Now, out of all the characters that have been done in Magic over the years, Elspeth is my favorite character. I really, really relate to her. The whole constantly being pulled back into turmoil, even though you kind of want a peaceful life. I can relate to that. So, so she makes tokens. She makes my tokens indestructible. She's pretty badass. Here's a card that's one of my pet cards, Into the Wilds. So at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you can put it into play. So it gets rid of your dead draws. It ramps you. So that doesn't count as your land drop, so if you draw a second land, you get 2 land that turn. It really gets rid of all the dead draws in your deck. It's very viable. Oracle Moldiah is more ramp. Parallel Lives, more doubling. Triumph of the Hordes is a win condition. Since you're giving everything Infect and Trample, you're probably going to win when you play that. If you don't, it's either because it got countered or someone fogged. It's pretty much the only way out of it. Here's another card that most people don't know, Glare of the Subdual. You tap an untapped creature to tap an artifact or creature. So you've got more creatures than everybody else, so tap down all their stuff and swing through unabated. Very, very valuable, and again, most people don't even know that's a card. We've got Watley. She's pretty standard for a token deck. Tristani's like infinite life gain. I have a friend that runs a fairly similar deck to this with Tristani as the commander, and she regularly gets up to 200 or 300 life with it. It's kind of redonkulous. I've got Tamio's Journal in here as one of my big draw spells. Tamio's Journal makes clue tokens. So, Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, Anointed Procession, they're all going to double the tokens you get from this. And you only need 3 tokens to be able to tutor. So, once you get a token doubler out, you're going to be tutoring 2 out of every 3 turns with that, which is really, really valuable. People seem to forget that clues are tokens. And so they're a very strong strategy to run in Selesnya tokens. Angel of Invention, with the Fabricate, we're always going to choose to make the two little token guys, and then we're going to buff all the creatures. We never want to put the counters on her, we always want to have extra creatures in play. Cathar's Crusade is another one of the cards I've never played in Paper Magic with this deck, just because it really is just a pain in the ass. Okay, so I brought one of my bigger spiders down, and she's getting a little close to the top right now. We may have a little fight, and she likes to rear up at me. She's a bird-eater tarantula, not full-grown yet. I'll put my hand right next to her. You can see she's only about 4 inches in leg span. She'll get up to about 11. She's a big girl. Not very friendly, but I like my mean spiders. Sorry to interrupt my deck tech with that, but it was relevant because I might have had to deal with it right there. So yeah, Cathar's Crusade I've never played because of the bookkeeping on it. Just the amount of dice that you need to keep track of this card. Like if I drop 20 tokens, that's 20 counters on every creature. That's annoying to do in paper Magic. But on here, the game does it for you. We've got another Elspeth. She's going to gain us life. She's going to make tokens. And then in a pinch, she can destroy everything except for tokens and lands and herself. So that's a really good board wipe for this deck. I'm sorry to interrupt with the drink there. As I've mentioned before, my medications make my mouth really dry. Increasing Devotion, make 5 human tokens the first time, make 10 on the flashback. So again, with Cathar's Crusade in play, that's make 10, 11, 11s. That's, ugh. We've got Doubling Season, of course. Tendershoot Dryad was a really good addition to this deck. We get a token every upkeep, not just mine. And then once I have City's Blessing, which you'll probably get it the second you cast it, all those Supprolling tokens get +2/+2. Freyalise also makes tokens. She also does removal for us, and she can draw us a butt-ton of cards when we're ready to. Michaeloth is a crazy one. He's a bit of a gamble. You have to devour your tokens to fill them up. But again, if Doubling Season's out, he's basically devour 4, so for every token you get 4 +1/+1 counters. And then every upkeep you're going to get a Supprolling token for each counter on him. So if he survives a turn around, he's really valuable. I wish I could turn that stupid thing off and have it stay off. Austere Command's a great board wipe for this deck. Because you pick all creatures converted mana cost 4 or greater, it won't destroy your tokens. Also won't destroy Rhys. So you pick that and either artifacts or enchantments. That way it's kind of a one-sided board wipe. Elspeth's Sun Champion. So you can see we have all 3 Elspeths. She makes more tokens. She board wipes probably not your tokens. If you've got something out putting counters on stuff, then it may hit your tokens. But you want to try and get to this emblem. +2/+2 and flying for all your tokens is usually a game ender. Martyr's Bond is another good one. This is kind of like Grave Pact, but it does it for every non-land permanent type. So if I lose an enchantment, my opponents have to sack enchantments. But with all my creatures, I don't care if I swing and lose creatures in combat, because then my opponents are going to have to sacrifice things. I can lose a soldier token or something and have them sack creatures they actually spent a card on. That really, really gives you some serious card advantage. True Conviction's a pretty obvious one. Double Strike and Lifelink for everything. Mikado War Pride is a bit of an oddball in here. So it can only be blocked by 1 creature, and when it attacks you get X tokens into play and attacking that are copies of it. And each copy, you get a copy for each creature the defending player has. And when you throw in your token doublers, you get all those extras swinging in as well. And each one has to be blocked by 1 creature. So you're going to get lots of extra damage through when you attack with this. Hour of Reckoning destroys all non-token creatures. So another one-sided board wipe. And it's got Convoke, so that's 7 mana. You don't really have to worry too hard about that cost. We've of course got Avenger of Zendikar. Giant Adaphage is one of my favorites, of course, because it's a bug. 7/7 with Trample. When it deals damage to a player, we get a token that's a copy of it. So it's just like our little friend further up here, the Spawn Wraith. It gets a little out of control if you end up with 2 of them and you start swinging. We've got Sandworm Convergence. This keeps flyers off of us. We have a little bit of trouble with flyers some games. And it also gives us some big 5/5 tokens to play with. Craterhoof's another win condition. Everyone's seen Craterhoof in Commander. Secure the Waste. This is a good way to get some warrior tokens into play, and the thing a lot of people miss in EDH is this is an instant. A lot of us don't play Standard, so we've never seen this get dropped as an instant. This can definitely swing some games, especially if you've got, oh, I'm blanking on the name, Cathar's Crusade in play. Martial Coup is one of our board wipes that also makes tokens. You can't go wrong with that. And then White Sun Zenith is one of my more favorite cards. Makes X cat tokens and you shuffle it back into your deck. So you may get to play it more than once. So this is what we're running for Rhys. Again, he kind of gets out of control. I played a game with this last night to try it out, and I had to go to bed before I ended the game, sadly. So I'm looking forward to playing a full game with it. Last night, I took control of the board pretty quickly, and finally got board wiped back into control, and didn't really get crazy again right away. So I'm curious how this is going to run. I only made one change since last night. I added one more land. Felt a little shy on the lands, so we'll see how it plays tonight. I like that word of command avatar. So I feel kind of weird having spiders out here that don't have names yet. I'm weird. I don't really name my bugs until they show me personality that's nameable. Ooh, I get to go first. Let's see who we're playing against. Erebos, Scorpion God, and Ruric Thar. That's a thing. Craterhoof and Adaphage in the opening draw. Oh, it's all 7 drops. No, not this hand. Okay, we can Growing Rights turn 1. Mirari's Wake is here. Yes, I like this hand. Let's see where this goes. Sorry, I just derped. I can't do that turn 1. I'm going to start with Temple Garden without paying 2 life. Now I know Rhys only costs 1. If you drop him turn 1, it just guarantees that you're going to have to pay 3 mana before you use his abilities. You don't drop Rhys until you're ready to start using him. That's probably the biggest mistake I see people do when they play Rhys. Let's see if that actually works this time. Big said gems. Oh my god, is it Jar Jar Binks? Must Eval and LeBlanc. I don't know if I want to make a Jar Jar Binks joke or not. I may offend the shit out of someone. I mean, the player, I don't want to tell him he sounds like Jar Jar Binks. That's a pretty big insult. Oh, so this Tarantula has a toy Pokemon, but I've never actually seen her do anything with it. I just kind of leave it in there out of laziness. I haven't seen much of a need to take it out. Okay, let's go with Yavimaya Hollow and a Sylvan Library. Seems good, right? Fun fact, the original art for the Sylvan Library was done by the same guy that did the art for Invoke Prejudice, which has a bunch of Klansmen and hoods on it. The guy is a white supremacist. He's only done like 3 magic arts. Apparently he's really proud of Invoke Prejudice that he got that through. So I've made it a point never to own any cards with his art on them. I know I look white, I'm actually biracial. I'm 25% Navajo. The other 75% is mostly English, Mutt, Welsh, Gaelic, Celtic, a little bit of Scottish. My wife is almost pure German, I think. And even though we're both pretty pale, if you put our skin next to each other, you can definitely see brown underneath my skin tone compared to her pink. It's quite a contrast, actually. So there are different types of pale. Remember that next time you hang out with a goth. Also, like there's more than one shade of black. Just noticed we got snowlands up here. Blah. There goes like 80% of my deck. Fuck me. I need to draw removal for that pretty quick. Can I draw Swords to Plowshares? Can I get lucky? Okay, Sylvan Library. I know that giant out-of-page is going back on top. Let's see. So giant out-of-page, put on top. And don't really need either of those either, so I'll just put that one on top too. Well, at least I know I'm not going to whiff on the growing rights like I did last night. Ooh, Micah loss. I'm going to take the Micah loss. Put the rest in any order. Kind of sad I lose my Core Haven, but with that Dwarven Miner, I probably would have lost it anyway. So wait, Bert. I know I just heard you. I swear, I've turned off all these little default alerts on this laptop after I got it, but they still won't go away. Like, this is just reminding me why I prefer to have Mac computers. Like, when you set up a Mac, they fucking stay set up. I don't have to keep messing with settings to get things to work. Also, I don't have to look up a million tutorials to find out what components are in my laptop and how to get software to agree with it. Like, shit just works on the first try. I totally wasn't paying attention. I assume they used that expedition map at some point, which means they got Cabal coffers. Oh, Urborg, okay. So they've already got the coffers. Okay. I'm fine if that dude wants to attack. It means he's not eating my land. So this is the drawback of being a show-off like me and playing like a million fancy lands instead of instead of basics. God, I love that foil forest. Ugh, all non-basic lands. Okay, let's put that one on top. And do I have a 4-drop in hand? Oh, I've got Ancient Tomb anyway. Yeah, let's play Ancient Tomb. Cast Mirari's Wake. Seems like a good turn 4 play, right? Swiper! Let's see if he'll come down and join us. Swiper! Swiper! I tried. Swiper, are you gonna come down and play Magic? Hey, Capitals won the Stanley Cup. First championship for Washington since '92. That's pretty badass. I wish I had a good way of watching hockey without cable or satellite, without having to pay like $80 for some web subscription. It's annoying enough I have to pay like, what, $12 a month for wrestling? And I don't even get Raw and SmackDown. Seriously, what the fuck's up with that? That's some kind of bullshit deal. They can't put their own shows on their own network. I think it's like some deal with Hulu. Abyss. It destroys. Okay, I can live with that. I should have more than enough creatures. Fingers crossed. If I draw some token generators at some point tonight. Oh, it gets rid of the Dwarven Miner. I am okay with that. By the way, as far as old art on Magic cards go, I've always liked the Abyss. It's really simple, but it definitely gets the point across. Oh, please don't target mine. Who are you targeting? Oh, someone else. Okay. I am completely fine with this. So we know we've got 2 land on top of the deck. What's going to be under those 2 land? It'd be nice if there was a fetch land so I could shuffle the deck up and get something new. Got a Windswept Heath and a Grasslands in here. I hope that actually works this time. I'm always going to use Sylvan Library. You don't have to ask. Okay, I've got to cultivate. That lets me shuffle the deck. Perfect. Let's put these 2 back on top. And play the Sun Petal Grove since it comes in untapped. By the way, I love that art in foil. I really don't like the new one, just because this one's so much better. Wow, this is awkward, paying for odd mana costs with doubled mana. Tapping that for 2. And tap that for colorless. I'm watching my Spidey move around over there. She is so calm and cautious for how big she is. Do I want 2 planes? Yeah, I'm taking 2 planes. Okay, I'm going to put 1 into play tapped. We've got some mana floating. Do I throw the Cathar's Crusade out and risk it being killed? I've only got 1 opponent that can kill it. So we're going to go for it. Oh god. That card's going to make tapping everything really awkward. Once again, they assume I'm a dude. I wish I could put, like, a female symbol at the end of my name. I really fucking hate people assuming I'm a dude. You're gonna learn, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. On the plus side, Jar Jar Binks is gonna get the Scorpion God back. By the way, if you're watching my video back on YouTube later, or you're watching it on Twitch right now, I'm so sorry I'm calling you Jar Jar Binks. I legit feel horrible, but oh my god, I can't look at that screen name and not think of it. Big said gems. Like seriously, how could you make that screen name and not think of Jar Jar Binks when you're doing it? If I get bored enough this game, I may rub the leg of my spider with a pair of tweezers and see if she'll rear up for the camera. It's really cool when she does. She is not friendly. I think I've made that clear. I hope no one minds. I'm going to snack while I'm playing this game. I got some goldfish crackers handy. If you're going to snack, you might as well snack on something relatively healthy compared to potato chips. I assume this deck does have some green in it somewhere. I hope that doesn't come off insulting. I'm always worried about coming off as in an insulting way to people. It's one of the curses of autism. I never know how what I say is going to be read by people who aren't autistic. And a lot of times even by other autistic people. Oh, I got something that makes tokens finally. Wish I could put the plains back on top. So we're going to put Austere Command on top. And I'm going to put Savannah on top of that. I'm just going to play a regular plains. Make 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 13, 15. So I can make 14 tokens at instant speed. That's really fucking good. I think I'm going to do that at the end of the block's turn. Especially since I have Cathar's Crusade in play. Oh my god, I have Cathar's Crusade in play. They're going to be 15/15s. I might just win the game on my turn. I should not be winning the game this fast. This is what, turn 6? So I'd be winning on turn 7? That's not that early. What do we got, Jar Jar? Hand of the Praetors. Ooh, we have an Infect deck. Oh, duh, it's Scorpion God, of course. It's really good. Mm-hmm. Payback without Abyss. Now proliferate all the poison counters. That's how we do it. We do it. I think she's realizing the lid's not on now. You can see her reaching for the top up there. My adorable big girl. This is really a non-talkative game. I'm kind of surprised. As we've seen in others, usually the chats go on the whole time. What do we got? Oh, just tapping out to tap out. It's such a weird concept to me. It really gives away that you don't have anything in your hand. Okay, cutie, you gotta go back down. Yeah. Yeah, tear those tweezers up. Did you guys see that? That's pretty fucking badass. I like my mean spiders. Let me check. Okay, I shouldn't leave any venom on them, otherwise I'd show you. Sometimes they do that. Usually they're just biting to scare. So yeah, not all my tarantulas are nice. I do have a lot of nice ones, but yeah, we got some meanies too. Okay, here we go. And people are going to concede now. I have a feeling. So I've got a really cool new spider coming in the mail soon. A friend of mine found me a really good one for showing to little kids and letting them handle. And she's got a really, really pretty copper gold color. Almost red, kind of. Yep, I'll lose a warrior. Can't believe no one's conceded yet. Put that on top. And I'll pay 4 life. And here's where we get stupid. Now people are going to concede. There we go. Well, that was a quick game. Making sure she didn't sneak out on me. I'm absolutely blown away at how fast this deck just cleared a table. That was amazing. Never had to play Rhys. Never played any other creatures. Oh my god, that just went bonkers. Oh my god, and I ended at 240 life? What the fuck even was that? So that was nutty. That shit's got corn in it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and drop off for a moment so I can upload this video, and then we'll come back and play some other formats. See you in a bit.